Hello, welcome to the Critically Clueless. Today we are doing a video all about Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. And today's deck build, we're going to be doing a deck build for a classic deck, one that I like very, very much, which is, of course, the Six Samurai deck. Now, Six Samurai is actually rather interesting because although it featured in the first few seasons of the original anime, it never really belonged to a big overarching character, but yet it actually got quite a lot of support over the years. Now, it may not be one of the most meta decks around. However, I have a deck build that works pretty well, actually. I quite like it. It's one of those decks where you can do a lot of special summoning, and with the right support cards, you can really make the duel yours. But before we get into all of that, if you enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel and want to see more deck builds just like this, I try and do OG deck builds. I try and do deck builds based around the original anime show. Failing that, I will be doing, whatever decks actually seem to work and get us through to Platinum as well. So if you want to see more deck builds just like this, don't forget to hit that like button and, of course, subscribe to the channel. Or failing that, I do also have a Discord. You guys are welcome to join, and a link for that will be down in the description. Now, the Six Samurai deck. This Six Samurai deck is a lot of fun, and it all really comes down from having two samurais on the field at once. When you have two samurais on the field, they normally have an effect that only activates if you have two. It's also kind of the downfall as well, because if you're not able to pop off that special summon, then unfortunately you're not able to use that extra effect. But as you're going to see in this video, it's very easy to get those special summons. It's very easy to get multiple Six Samurais. And as you can see, even one of the weaker Six Samurais in the deck works extremely well. So first of all, when it comes to the deck build, we have two secret Six Samurai Fuma cards. This is a level 1 tuner card as well. Because of that, I think this deck really has a huge scope when it comes to the extra deck. There's a lot of different cards that you can put in this extra deck. And I think everyone's Six Samurai deck, extra deck at least, is going to be vastly different to someone else's. This one does have an ability though, where if it is destroyed by battle, you're able to special summon another Six Samurai from your deck. And it also has an ability to protect you from the graveyard as well, banishing this card, protecting that card. So it's very good to have this in. I have it as 2 copies right now, but it could also be 3 copies. We obviously have 1 Max C, and then we have 3 copies of another tuner card as well. Genbar is a level 2 tuner, again adding to the huge possibilities when it comes to synchro summoning. And this also links very nicely with the first card we had, where you can choose one of your banished cards and return it to your hand. Next up, we have a legendary Six Samurai Kageki, and when this is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Six Samurai card from your hand. This does enable you to get that extra special summon in as well. Then we have 1 copy of Shinari, 1 copy of Mitsuo. These two need to go in hand. You can't really have one without the other, because if you have one on the field, you can special summon the other. We have 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is an incredibly powerful card, has the ability to veto other cards, and again is another tuner. So if you need, another tuner on for those extra options, this card has a lot of this deck has a lot of tuners in it. Then we have 2 copies of Hatsumi. This has the ability to banish 2 Six Samurai monsters from the field or the graveyard and special summon another Six Samurai monster from the graveyard. Then we have 1 Zanzi. If this card battles any card while there's another Six Samurai card here, its effect will activate and automatically destroy the card. And of course, we have 1 copy of Nizashai. Now, we actually had this at the beginning of the video. If there is another copy of a Six Samurai monster up, its effect will activate and you can battle twice. Then we have 3 copies of Kazan. This card can be special summoned if you have another copy of Six Samurai up. So it's really important to have that. You get the extra special summon just for having another one on the field. Kind of goes hand in hand why you would have Kuzaro in your deck as well, because if this card is special summoned, you can then add another Six Samurai from your deck to your hand. So they link up very, very nice. We then have 1 copy of Legendary Secret of the Six Samurai, and then we also have the Shin's Counselor, who can be special summoned just for having 2 Six Samurai in the graveyard. We then have the Great Shogun, 2 of this card. This also can be special summoned just by having 2 Six Samurais on the field. And then we have a Dark Hole, a Raigeki, Swords of Revealing Light, just because I think this card can annoy people quite easily and save you at the same time. 1 Harpy Feather Duster, Monster Reborn, Reinforcement of the Army can be really good. It helps you get a card that you need from your deck to your hand. Obviously, we're running nothing but warriors here, so that works out really well. We have 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Castle of Mist. This can be changed up for perhaps 2 Temple of the Six. I think Temple of the Six is probably the better field spell card, but we have them both in this deck. I have 1 Burden of the Mighty just because the Six Samurais aren't necessarily overpowered. They do have a few different abilities to remove certain cards, which is brilliant, like the Chancellor, for instance, that can destroy certain cards. But Burden of the Mighty just debuffs people, so I quite like that. And of course, if you stack that with Temple of the Six, then you can find these very, very high-end tier boss cards end up having almost no attack whatsoever. We have 1 copy of Secret Samurai United. Every time you summon a Six Samurai, it can be special summon as well, you get a counter on here. They can then be removed, and for every counter on the card, you get to draw extra cards, which is quite nice. And then we have 1 copy of Gateway of the Six. This is a very good card. Again, the more samurais you summon, the more counters it gets. And then with those counters, it can be removed for extra things to happen. We also have 1 Shen's Dojo, which helps you special summon extra Six Samurai to the field. Followed by 1 Forbidden Droplet, 1 Mirror Force. We have a Karma Cut as well. We also have 1 Solomon's Judgment and an Infinite Impermanence, and Call of the Haunted as well, just to help get that extra special summon out. I also should really apologize for messing up the pronunciations of pretty much all of those cards as well. Hopefully, like I said, you can see the cards on screen anyway, so if you need to have a little search for these cards, I'm sure you're able to. And then moving on to the extra deck. Now, this is an absolute must. This card can be incredibly good. And Xian has an ability where if you're able to special summon it out onto the field once per turn, when your opponent uses a spell card or a trap card, you have the ability to negate that, which I really, really like. I like any cards where you can negate activations of spell and trap cards, and the fact that that's on your first monster that you're probably going to be able to special summon out just adds to the awesomeness of the card. We also have a Shadow of the Six Samurai as well. This is an XYZ. Unfortunately, this XYZ card really isn't that good. It does have the ability to boost up the attack damage of certain cards. But I have it in there just because, you know, it is an XYZ card and it is a support card for the archetype that we are talking about. Here, though, I do end up having a Utopia, we have a Stardust Dragon, we have Black Rose Dragon, and we also have a Colossus Fighter. The extra deck can be changed massively. There's a lot of places you can go with the extra deck. You're able to synchro summon, especially a lot of cards very easily in this game. I also have a Cyber Slash Harpy. Cyber Slash Harpy has an ability where it can place a card back in your opponent's hand if they use a spell trap card, or if you use a spell card outside of battle damage. It's a very annoying card which you can annoy the enemy with. All these cards I've been able to special summon and use within my gameplay as well, and I think it's just a fun deck to use all round. So let's move into a little bit more gameplay um, of this deck and just how it works. As you see, we're able to special summon very easily, probably the top 3 most powerful cards in our deck. Back to back there, the Counselor, the Shogun, and of course our Synchro Summon. Now the Counselor has an ability where instead of attacking, it's able to straight up destroy any card once per turn. But that means you can still attack with your other cards. It's very, very good ability. And as you see in most of these duels, the people that I'm playing against are just getting frustrated with my deck, they're unable to beat it, and they're just straight up quitting. Which I quite like. I think whenever anyone gives me an easy win, it's quite nice. Here we are up against a Dark Magician deck. This is obviously someone who's put a lot of time and effort into this Dark Magician deck. Even running with the Dark Magician theme with his little pet on the side. But yet we still managed to beat it with this rather old school Six Samurai deck. Now, admittedly, for me, this duel didn't start off particularly well. I think that I got a little bit lucky. I think that had this been possibly a different deck, possibly a Blue Eyes deck, I think Blue Eyes are just a little bit better than Dark Magician. At the moment, with the way the current game is, I think they're able to special summon their Blue Eyes a little bit quicker than you are with Dark Magician. But as you see, we did definitely manage to overwhelm the Dark Magician player, remove all of their cards, and it ended up going really well for us. So yeah, so let me know, guys, if you end up trying out this deck, if you enjoy it, if you get any luck. I managed to get this deck straight up into Gold Tier 2 with the new season. But I'm going to try out a couple of different decks to try and get into plat. I do think this is a fun deck to use though, and as you saw, it's a very, very cheap deck as well. The actual main deck itself doesn't really have any ultra rares in it. Yes, it has Maxi, yes it has Ash Blossoms, but when it comes to actually constructing a deck from cards that you probably don't already have, everything is just a super rare. There's no ultra rares here, so it's an incredibly cheap deck to actually get up off the ground. Admittedly, the absolute must when it comes to ultra rare creation for this deck, though, is the Synchro Summon. It is kind of the boss card of this deck, and it's worth it as well. It's a nice little card that has a pretty useful ability. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this deck build. I hope you get some success out of it as well. And of course, don't forget to comment down below what deck build you would like to see next. But until next time, I've been a monk, we've been a Critically Clueless, and I'll see you in the next video real soon. And until then, happy gaming.